Welcome to Behavioral Health Today, a Triad production. I'm your host, Dr. Graham Taylor. My guest today is Ken Honda. Ken is a money and happiness expert and is Japan's best-selling Zen Millionaire. Ken studied law at Waseda University in Tokyo and entered the Japanese workforce as a business consultant and investor. Ken was 29 when he first retired to welcome his newborn daughter into the world. At the time, he thought he was done with work owning a successful consulting and accounting business. However, Ken's second career, focused on helping millions heal their relationship with money, was just about to begin. Ken is the author of the book, Happy Money, The Japanese Art of Making Peace with Your Money. While his financial expertise comes from owning and managing several businesses, Ken's writings bridge the topics of financial and self-help, focusing on creating and generating personal wealth and happiness through deeper self-honesty. Ken provides ongoing support through mentoring programs, business seminars, therapeutic workshops, and correspondence courses. He is fluent in English and Japanese and resides in Tokyo, Japan with his wife and with his daughter. Ken, it's so nice to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you, Graham. I'm so happy to be invited to your show. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Ken, I know that your experiences in understanding people and the role of money in their lives seems to have had two very interesting starts. One was being a part of your father's business when you were a small boy, serving tea to his clients. And the second was a walk you were taking in the park with your daughter, where you witnessed an event between a mother and a daughter that influenced you going home and writing an essay that was really the start of your book, Happy Money. Share with us, would you share with us, if you would, more about these two events and how they impacted you and how they've led you to become a money and happiness expert?
Thank you, Graham. I was born into a very unique family. My father was a very successful tax accountant, and he wanted me to learn enough by the age 20 so I can go on my own. So he used to take me to a nearest shopping mall and ask me questions like, hey, which one is making most money? So his teaching was very practical. He taught me about the basic accounting, basic business, and all that. So because of his support and my interest in financial independence, I could retire at age 29. And I spent 4 years focusing on child raising. So I was very good at changing diapers and
very good
in 30 seconds. So so not many fathers have luxury of spending four first years with his daughter. So I was the fortunate one. So that's what the basic story. And I think probably 2 years into semi-retirement, so I must have been 31 or so. I just enjoy so a little bit older because my daughter could use a swing. She loved swinging, so we just spent like hours, and I was a pusher and just doing for like 30 minutes or so, and we were tired, so we're just having a cup of tea and snacks by the side, and the daughter young mother and her daughter came to the swing, and they're enjoying for literally 2 or 3 minutes. And then the mother said, okay, we got to go. Wow, that's fast. And then the daughter was complaining, Mom, we just got here. And she was so right. They got there like 2 minutes, and then they were just about to go. So she was holding on to the swing, but literally the mother just dragged her out of the swing. And then she said, your mom has to go to work. So you have to come with me. It really broke my heart. I couldn't really stand up, and I just sat there, just motionless. Like, wow. And then I realized that she has to work, okay, of course. And then why? I'm sure the little one wanted to be in the park as long as she could, and also the mother also wanted her daughter to enjoy a great time in the park. Oh, that's work. And it seems like she is a single mom and has to go to work because of money. If she knew more about money, she could enjoy the beautiful time. It was such a perfect sun and the breeze. I still remember it was the perfect moment in the park.
Perfect day. Yeah.
Yes, perfect day. And then I realized that she didn't have the knowledge about money and work. That's why she cannot have a moment even. And then I am, spending time with my daughter for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And then I thought, okay, I have to do something for people like that. And then I came up with an idea of writing a short essay on happiness and money. That is the beginning of my career.
Wow, really good. I love the heart that you had, not just for your daughter and wanting to spend the time with her. Those first 4 years are the most impressionable years, and they set a cornerstone for our children's lives. And to be able to spend that time, and including changing diapers and all the good things and the swing pusher that it came with it, those are priceless times that we can never replace. And I'm so glad you had that time. But I also admire the heart that you had for that mother and that daughter in that moment. As you're talking, Ken, I'd like to maybe start off our time today. You're talking about a few very important constructs: money, happiness, and prosperity. And I think we all have some ideas or definitions that we hold. We think about, what is money? Well, money is a source of security, or maybe it's a means for achieving a goal or an aspiration, or maybe basic necessities, or maybe it's a way to gain power or status or respect for some. And maybe for some, it's maybe a measure of value, or maybe the construct of what is happiness. Well, sometimes we might say that, well, happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are all in harmony, or maybe it's an emotional state that brings joy and satisfaction or contentment or fulfillment. What is prosperity? That's another of the constructs. And well, that's being successful and thriving, right? Or maybe some might say it's far more than wealth. They might say it's when all people have an opportunity for freedom to thrive. So can you start us off at the beginning here, as we're talking about these three constructs: money, happiness, and prosperity? How do you encourage those you work with to think about and define these constructs? What is money in your mind? What is happiness? What is prosperity?
So I teach visible asset and invisible asset in that regard. Visible asset is money, gold, or real estate, cars, and all the things that you can touch, and also it's tangible. Even though you cannot really touch money electronically, you know what I'm talking about. An invisible asset is something like friendship, the bond, and the trust, and the sense of happiness, and also sense of security and sense of peace. That kind of thing is not measured by numbers, unfortunately. So when I take a look at a company to invest, a lot of people invest by looking at the numbers. I invest in companies by reading the air in the company. So, for example, are they all happy? If employees are happy working, and are their clients happy? So if there is a beautiful air flowing in the company, or if the happy air is floating or flowing in your home, you're a happy person. But if you're always fighting, if you're struggling emotionally, the air in your house is not so clean and happy. So that's how I see it. So instead of having much money in the bank account, if you have more than enough, I think the energy in your house, or energy in your heart, or energy around you is much more important than the numbers.
Oh, I really like that. That's a nice way to frame it. I know that you in your work, you help people examine their relationship with money. You're talking about the air in the house and the feel of the house, almost the feng shui of how things flow and how things happen, and how one's conditioning and their mindset around money gets influenced by our parents, by our schools, by our society, our culture. And part of this examination that you help people do is helping them diagnose maybe if there's a money wound that they may carry unknowingly. Ken, what constitutes a money wound, and how do you help people kind of recognize if in fact they're carrying a money wound, and then how do you help them go about healing that wound?
Thank you, Graham. For example, have you ever had an opportunity that you wanted to do something, but then you feel like, oh, that's costing me so much money. I cannot fly to Hawaii. I wish I could go to Italy. Well, I wanted to take the seminar, but it's too expensive. It's out of my reach. Is often we feel the discouragement and then frustration and sometimes anger about the company you're working for. Since you're not getting paid, you cannot afford those things. When you just take out the issues like that, it goes back to your childhood. I remember when I was 7 years old, I wanted to have a mountain bike, but my parents said, that's too expensive. And then I was really hurt. Oh, I'm not worth that mountain bike. Later years, I realized that they meant it's too, you are too early. It's too early for you to have the big bike. So I understand that now, but as a 7-year-old boy, I was like completely denied my whole thing. And then, oh, I'm not worth that mountain bike, so because I'm not a good boy, I'm not smart, or I don't obey to my parents, whatever the reason, my heart was crushed anyway. So I'm sure you were denied of your dream summer camps, going to Disneyland, or like even going to movies with your friends. All of your friends have certain things like PlayStation or whatever the toys, it depends on your generation. Your toys are denied. And like, oh my God, like whole world is crashing in front of you. So because of those traumatic experiences in your early childhood, you have this pattern like, oh, I want this, but it's too much to ask. So people don't bother even wanting things in your life because it's too expensive. It's going to cost something. So like, oh no, don't worry about it. I don't even want it to begin with. So unless you go back to the original place and time, and then for me, look at my parents. So for you, just look at your parents when you're 10, you wanted to go to a summer camp or soccer school or ballet lessons, piano lessons. And then your parents said, no, that's too expensive for you. Just look at this scene and just figure out what's going on. Your parents could be younger than you are now. They're in their 30s and then they didn't know much about money. They were confused. Maybe they're just feeling so frustrated about work and the marriage situation. And then it may not be something to do with money, but they said no anyway with frustration. But no happy parents would enjoy saying no to their kids unless it's dangerous or something. Of course, you want to help your kids' dream come true, but because of the tight financial situation, they couldn't say yes. So can you understand what's going on there? You're hurt, but also the thing you didn't know is your parents are as hurt as you were because you have to say no. How terrible would that be? So if you can take a look at the picture, the whole picture, at least you can understand what's going on with your parents. And then if possible, can you accept them as who they are? And then can you accept their immaturity? And then can you forgive them? And if you can forgive them and send your young parent, and then hold them in your heart, the whole picture will change. So the next time when you want something, money will not be in the way.
Boy, that's a really lovely explanation of that. It really is. It's allowing us to kind of pause and think about, we tend to do most things unconsciously without really a mindfulness to it, but you're encouraging us to stop and to kind of explore, hey, how do I feel about money and where did that originate? And my parents, doing maybe the best they could, didn't know that maybe they were doing some things that I, as a wee child, interpreted a certain way. But maybe I didn't see the whole picture when I was small. And now I get to see it in a different way. And maybe I can understand and I can have some empathy and maybe I can and maybe need to forgive. And then to recognize that maybe I get to come into my adult life now without the same thoughts about money as I once did as a child and carried with me through my early adult years. You're talking about this idea of kind of being able to look at things a little more deeply. And sometimes through conversations like we're having, it allows us to think about these things differently. I know that in terms of ways that you got to be influenced also happened in your young adult years when you had a mentor early in your life. His name is Wahei Takada, and you described him as the Warren Buffett of Japan. And you shared that he taught you something very important about this concept of appreciation and gratitude. Share with me what you learned from him.
Thank you for asking. My mentor Wahei used to own, he was a major shareholder of more than 100 public companies in Japan, which is huge. And he passed away a few years ago, but I had this great opportunity to have like a 15-second chat because there were like 100 people, were behind me. So I could ask him, what would you ask Warren Buffett if you have like 15 seconds? So I came up with this one question: what is the secret of money? And then his answer was, arigato, your money, with a big smile. And then I got pushed out from the line. And that his answer just was haunting me, like, arigato, my money, does appreciate your money. Appreciate my money? Well, is that the secret of money? And then, I couldn't come up with the right answer to interpretation for that. But 2 months later, I had another opportunity to have 2 hours with him privately. And then he explained, when you appreciate money coming in and going out, you start this cycle of appreciation energy. Once you create this bubble of appreciation, people can recognize you. People can see your smile. People can feel your energy. And then if you're a florist, they will come and just ask you to arrange flowers. If you're cooking, sushi, they will come because they love your energy. Yes. So this appreciation energy really boosts your life. You're more lovable and you're more accepting. And so people will come, if you're a doctor, a teacher, or a therapist, a coaches, whatever the occupation you are, people will be attracted to you like a magnet. So that is why you need to appreciate small things in life. That was his teaching.
It's a beautiful teaching. This idea that money can equal energy, this energy of receiving and giving, that ebb and that flow. And it starts with receiving and how you receive it gratefully and what you do with it appreciatively. You've also talked about this idea of happy money versus unhappy money and how one can know if their money is actually smiling. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So some years ago, I was having a dinner party, and then there were about 100 people. And then this woman approached me from the crowd, and she asked me if she could take a look at my wallet.
It's your wallet. I remember that story. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yes. And then at the time, somehow all the people were obsessed with a celebrity's wallet. Can you imagine what kind of wallet Justin Bieber has, or your president has, or movie stars, or influential people has? Do they even have a wallet, these days? And so there were just articles on our prime minister has a big wallet, but he doesn't have much money in it. Like, oh, that's interesting. So I thought she was interested in my wallet, and so okay, as long as she gave it back to me. So I handed over my wallet, and she just took out everything, which kind of like, oh. And then I was paying a little bit of attention while I was having a chat with these people. And then she said, this is okay, this is great, oh, this is fun. And then she put them all back in, and she handed over to me and said, Ken, you passed the test. All your money is good. And I said, did I pass the test? That sounds like good, but what do you mean by that? And she said, all your money was smiling. That means you must have made a lot of people happy and received money. And she said, oh, let me introduce myself. I'm a sidekick. I see things that other people don't see. So I see, by looking at your wallet, I can see what kind of life you have. If you're taking advantage of other people and get money, your money is crying or just angry in your wallet. Sometimes I can see the frustration in your wallet. All your money is good, Ken. So you must have done something good. So great job. And later on that night,
Wow.
I start thinking my friends' faces. Definitely, that guy has unhappy money,
Uh,
and Graham, you must be, your money must be smiling in your wallet. I can tell, if they're
mm,
happy, it's as a result of making other people happy. So their
yes.
money is likely to be smiling in their wallet. So like, that's interesting. And then I got this inspiration. My mission in life is to transform all the unhappy money
Yes.
into happy, smiling money.
Yes.
Because 95% of us are living in the flow of unhappy money, not smiling money, because we don't do work that doesn't bring us joy. We do it
Yeah.
just to bring food on the table. That is
Yes.
unhappy money. And sometimes, we know it's not right, but sometimes we push and then get unhappy money.
Yeah.
I talk to thousands of people all the time. And then, okay, let's be honest. How many of us or how many of you have got unhappy money in your life? And everybody, raises his or her hand, and then I get my audience to speak. And one of the gentlemen in his 70s said, about 50 years ago, probably many of you were even born at the time. I was just selling a typewriter at the time. And I knew that this office doesn't need a typewriter, but I just sold it, to pay for my college. And I'm
Mm,
still, after 50 years, I'm still ashamed of that. And
mm,
I told him, okay, I want to forgive you,
mm.
because you needed the money. And so I think you can give your forgiveness. And then he was in tears because,
Oh boy.
that was stuck like a thorn in his heart, that
Mm-hmm.
the unhappy money he ripped off from an old lady, and then it was sort of stuck in his heart.
I
So we have a
understand.
lot of unhappy experiences, and we
Mm,
didn't do things right. So you have to forgive yourself for being sometimes not honest with your money
mhm.
for survival. But ideally, if you can increase the flow of happy money and enjoy making people smile, as a
Yes.
result, you can get happy money. So, even though it may not be 100% happy money, but you can increase the ratio of happy money in
Yes.
your life.
You've raised this idea of forgiveness twice today already. One was about maybe forgiving our parents because we didn't
Which
understand
is
what they were doing. Yeah,
which is
and
a
they
hard
were.
one.
It is. It is. But what I love that you're saying is that maybe if we can trust that they did the best that they could in the
Uh-huh.
situations that they were in, and they were trying to steward their money the best way they could, and maybe they didn't communicate some things that we understood quite properly. But once we understand it now, we can, with that understanding, have some empathy, and empathy allows us to work towards forgiveness. You're
Mm-hmm.
also talking about forgiveness being maybe we get to forgive ourselves sometimes for some things that maybe we did, maybe they weren't honest, maybe they weren't whatever. But the idea is that when we don't forgive unconsciously, we're holding on to something that keeps us stuck, and we can't grow when we're stuck. Things can't flow. And so forgiveness is allowing ourselves to let go of something that we don't need to hold on to anymore, that we get
Mm-hmm.
to release almost and open up like a dam that's holding back all of this potential or energy or opportunity. And so I think this idea of forgiveness coming up twice is a real key part to what you're sharing here.
Yes, exactly. So I'm often called money healer
Uh,
because I heal money wounds, and I've seen miraculous stories because of the money healing. So
yeah,
that person who just forgave himself just started giving away his money because
yeah.
he was already wealthy. He was helping an orphanage in Cambodia, just
Mm,
donating his money. And then he's helping orphans now,
mm,
sort of like to compensate
yes,
what he had done or he didn't do. So oftentimes, body healing releases
yes,
unstuck energy. So
Yes.
you have a more beautiful flow of money into your life. And I really
And
enjoy seeing the transformation.
and I can't imagine anything that could be more prosperous, nor something that could bring more happiness than to be able to use money to help others in some very, very necessary ways at times, like the orphanage that you're describing. You know,
Mhm.
we talked earlier about parents and how they're involved in creating a mindset for and an understanding of money. What is one message that you would give to parents on ways that they can best model and
Mhm.
communicate to their children about having a healthy and happy relationship with money?
Thank you, Graham. You keep asking incredibly great questions, so thank you for that.
You're very
And I
kind.
also appreciate you taking time to review my videos and read my book thoroughly. I really appreciate
That was my
an
pleasure.
interviewer like you.
That was my
I
joy.
because there are so many interviewers who haven't even read my book, which is
Mm.
okay. But so thank you for that. So I wrote a few books on how to teach kids money in a happy way in Japanese. And
Yes.
so I can share what I know about parenting around money. So the only parenting you need is to teach kids that money is good
Yes.
and money can be good. Money is neutral. So if you're a nice person, money
Yes.
becomes good. If you're a mean, cold person, money becomes cold.
Right.
So if you just want to do some good, money can help you.
Very
So
good.
the worst case scenario is money will not get in your way of happiness. And then
Mm.
if you make it work, money can be your best friend. So you
Mm.
can achieve your dreams. So if you don't do it right, money can just deteriorate your life. So
Mhm.
money can be either great or terrible in your life. So
Yeah.
you can teach your kids, and then you can show your kids how wonderful money can be. I often taught my daughter, we are financially comfortable. That's why we can help other people, and
Yes.
then we can do all sorts of fun things because of money. So
Yeah.
as she grew up, she thought money is such a fantastic thing. So she has no block around money. So if you can teach money as energy, and it can be happy or it can be unhappy, they will pay more attention to how they make money, not
What a
just
great,
numbers.
yeah, what a great, it's not just numbers. It gets to be a relationship, and it gets to be a relationship with the energy that money can potentially have. You know, we've got just a couple of minutes before we wind down for today, but I want to ask you just a couple of personal questions.
Mhm,
If and bear with me on these questions, they're a little
mhm,
different. But if money were a person to
mhm,
you, if money was a person, who would it be to you, and what kind of characteristics would it have?
mhm. So, I love British movies. My favorite movie is done by Kazuo Ishiguro, Remains of the Day.
Oh, okay.
And that old British, I think it's 18th, 19th century, there's a butler, waiting to serve. So if money was a person, I think it
I love
is
that.
a British butler who is very well, polite, and
Very
he
good.
can do anything.
That's great.
Okay, James, or this what John, can you book me a flight to London? I said, certainly, sir. And then, I want to go to Hawaii, certainly in 2 seconds.
There you
So
go.
like, yeah, he can help me do just wonders. Like I want
Really
to
nice.
do a party somewhere, in August. Can you do that? I found a venue, sir, and then it's going to cost about this. Can I just give a green light? Thanks, James. Let's do
Very
it.
good.
Stuff like that. So for me, money is a very, very capable
Yes.
butler who can help my dream come true.
Capable, generous, responsive, and able to
Yes,
provide some really wonderful experiences for self and for others. Really nice. You know,
yes.
as when you think about your legacy someday, when we're all not
Hmm.
here, when you
Hmm.
think of the type of legacy that you would like to leave with your money when you're gone,
Hmm.
what would
Hmm.
your legacy be? What do you want it to be?
I wanted, I want my money to be spent so people can remember that love exists. You know, you feel loved by something. So I hope it becomes a catalyst so people can remember, you know, we can still believe in love.
That's really
And
good.
we can be more generous, you know, we can be more open, we can be more kind to each other. So if people have more than enough, okay, I think I should share more. If people don't have enough, okay, I think I have to do something right for my kids and my family members. So it's nothing to do with money, but just about love.
Yeah, well, that's lovely. I think that's a wonderful legacy to be focused on leaving. Ken, I would love for our listeners to be able to follow up with you after our show, learn more about you and your book, Happy Money.
Mhm.
Give us some resources and the best way for them to follow up with you, would you?
Thank you. So you can find all the information at Ken Honda, KenHonda, as a car, kenhonda.com. You can find all the information in English. I'm translating lots of free materials from Japanese into English. And the only activity I have is Arigato Living Community that members can join me for our Zoom call. And since I'm going around the world pretty much all the time, I hope I can bump into you in the future in person, because I believe in meeting in person, and it's always more fun than Zoom call. So hopefully I want to see you somewhere on this planet.
Well,
soon.
thank you. I would welcome that. You're welcome to come here to Hawaii. And if I ever make it to Japan, I will follow up with you as well.
Yes, we'll just continue this
That would
after.
be good. That would
All
be
right.
good. Ken, you said, I've read that you said, whatever happens, you can say thank you. And these are the two most powerful words that you've identified that will help us start to transform our relationship with money. And I believe that this thank you applies to money and to relationships as well, which can heal and grow and transcend from a heart of appreciation and thankfulness. And I'm really grateful for you, Ken, for being with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And arigato to all. I'm just sending all my blessings on all my happy energy and happy money to you.
I appreciate that. Well, I also want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us today and dropping by and being with Ken and me. It's always great to have you with us. Regarding our episode today, I want to remind you that it and its resources and all of our other episodes can be found on our webpage at triadhq.com/BHT. So check out our webpage, triadhq.com/BHT, and explore our archive of podcasts and other resource materials. Thanks again for being with us on the show. And we'll look forward to having you back with us next time on Behavioral Health Today.